What's going on, everybody? It is Mike for Sim Racing 604, and welcome to the first of a few reviews of the cars included in the Assetto Corsa 70th Anniversary Ferrari DLC. So you are obviously looking at the SF70H. So 70 in honor of the 70 years of Ferrari, and the H referring to hybrid. Scuderia Ferrari is the SF, if you haven't put that together. So this is the 2017 spec Formula One car, and very excited to welcome it to Assetto Corsa for a number of reasons. First and foremost, it's very exciting to have a 2017 spec or a current generation Formula One car officially licensed outside of the official F1 game. So I think that's a pretty big step. I think that's very cool that Assetto Corsa was able to procure the rights to this car, and so it's very exciting. This is the car actually that was fan voted. So if you follow Assetto Corsa on social media, they had the fans vote on what would be the last car. They listed all the other cars in the 70th anniversary pack that they themselves chose, and then for the last car they put it out to the fans, and this is what was chosen. So it was met with some, animosity, some dislike on the part of Assetto Corsa fans. A lot of people were saying it doesn't fit in, what's it going to race against, blah blah blah. But I for one am very excited for this as a Formula One fan, and obviously if it was the #1 fan voted car, a lot of other people are excited too. So obvious competitors are the Formula Hybrid, and we'll get into that in a different video, but just very excited to have this car, and there's so much going on here. It's hard to find a place to start, but I'm going to try and keep this review short. I know your timeline is probably bombarded with various reviews of this car and all the other cars in this pack, so I'm going to try and be as succinct as I can in the review of this car. So again, you're looking at the 2017 edition Formula One car for Ferrari, driven by Sebastian Vettel and Kimi Räikkönen. As of the release of this pack, they are second in the Constructors' Championship to Mercedes, and Sebastian Vettel is second overall in points, so it is certainly very competitive this year in F1. This car is powered by a 1.6 liter turbo V6 with the KERS system. I did a video recently on what the KERS, DRS, and MGU are all about, so please feel free to jump back in my video history and check out that video if you want to know about the KERS system and how it works with this vehicle. If you notice in the load screen for Assetto Corsa, the load screen for this car, they have not listed specs, and Assetto Corsa and Kunos has been very open to the fact that they did not get the full spectrum of data on this car, and not surprising. If I was Ferrari, I wouldn't want my competitors knowing exactly what I'm working with either. So they've been somewhat secretive, but at the same time, this is as close as they could possibly model it based on the data they were given, and so they left the data sheet empty in the load screen. However, I can tell you that the car weighs somewhere around the 730 kilogram mark dry, and pumps out somewhere, they listed at 900 plus horsepower. Most people agree it is probably closer to 1,000. So tremendous power to weight ratio there. The engine peaks at about 15,000 RPM, and it is driven to the wheels by an 8-speed semi-auto quick shifting. I think it's down to 10 milliseconds or something like that per shift, so incredibly fast shifts in this car. The tires, you'll notice the tires, I'll just spin back around here, are extra wide. They added about 10 centimeters to the width of these tires from 2016 to 2017. So what you're looking at is 305 millimeter in the front and 405 at the rear. Yes, 405 millimeter tires at the rear. Absolutely incredible. So that is the car in a nutshell. So very excited to get out to the track. I've read some reviews about this, so we'll talk about that a bit on the track. And without further ado, actually we can take a quick look at the cockpit here. So incredible detail, but I'll let you discover that on your own. Just countless carbon fiber pieces and vents and wings on this thing that can be explored all day, so I won't spend too much time on it. But as you can see, a wonderful job of modeling the interior, and even a little nod to the Italian Grand Prix with the Monza track layout mounted inside the cockpit. Very, very cool what they've done with this. So without further ado, let's get out on the track and we'll do a talk and drive. Alright, so now we are sitting here in the pits, and I just want to run you quickly through what we can set up in this car. What you'll notice right away if you own the Formula Hybrid from RSS, the settings are almost identical, so it's pretty amazing the job RSS did with very little to work with. They did not have a model to sit and take notes from or any data to pull from, so they just took their best guess, and it was remarkably accurate. And version 3.0, which they're at now, is even more accurate, so incredible job by them. Gearing in this car is just fixed. You will not be able to adjust not only individual gears but final ratio. Those are set. You will never be able to adjust that. Tires, I'm going to give you a quick tip on tires in a second, but they range from ultra soft all the way to hard. Fuel load 55 by default on up to 133 max, 133 liters. Electronics, as you can see, it's exactly what Formula Hybrid put forward, so remarkable. We will leave that all default for now. Something, if you've seen any reviews online so far of this car, a lot of people are saying it's too difficult to drive, that there's just too much oversteer, the power coming out of corners is just overwhelming, and you spin every time. That is somewhat true, but just consider you have 1,000 horsepower, well, 900 to 1,000 horsepower driving those rear wheels in a car that weighs less than 800 kilograms, so there should be no surprise that oversteer is going to be an issue. So what I would suggest, if you're getting used to the car, is just dial this all the way to charging, disengage the electric motor, and you're going to have the 1.6 liter V6 pumping out somewhere, I believe, around 600 horsepower. So more than enough for this car to feel fast, just without it being insanely overpowered, as people are complaining about. So aero, we have left and right front adjustments, as well as a single rear wing adjustment. And then on to alignment and suspension options, which I'm sure you're used to in other cars in Assetto Corsa. One thing I wanted to show you under tires, if another way, if having it in charging mode is not working for you, what you can actually do is not only put on ultra softs, but dial your PSI, your tire pressure all the way down. I found that 7 is actually a workable number. It's going to normalize to about 18, 19 on the track, which is a very workable number. So you will increase your grip dramatically. So with that in mind, let's get out there, talk through a lap, and yeah, just get a sense of how the car drives. So here at Spa, obviously. So I am in charging mode. I'm going to take it nice and easy through Eau Rouge here. By nice and easy, I mean 230 kilometers an hour. Something else that's important to note is you do not want to take this thing to the rev limit. So you might be used to redlining most of the cars you drive in this game. Do not do that in this car. It reaches its peak power a whole lot earlier than you might be used to. So when it starts to go blue, about halfway through the blue light series on the wheel is usually when I shift, but you can play with that a little bit and make sure you're finding peak power there. There's probably a few seconds to be gained per lap just by shifting at the right time in this car. Down through Pouillon. Too early on the shift there, but that's fine. Just want to get some heat into the tires. let's drop this thing down to hot lap mode. Alright, too much brake there. Gotta dial that back a bit, but we'll do that after. So up the front straight here, DRS engaged. And again, you want to be real easy into that accelerator. To lift slightly through a rouge, and we kept it between the lines more or less. That's pretty good. I think that would count. DRS engaged. Let's see where we're at for speed. 325-ish. Losing a bit of time there. That should be north of 330 for sure. So something you'll notice, I think in showroom view you probably got a sense that the graphics are a little bit better. The attention to detail, I believe, is better in the SF70H than it is in the Formula Hybrid. No, I completely missed the corner. Oh well, I think you get the point. But I think I like the sounds in this car better as well. It's perhaps you know, less of a concern to most of us because it's not like we're running the Formula V10 or something like that. Excuse me, jumping games there. It's not like we're running the F2004 or something like that with a V10 that we love to hear scream. I don't think many people are in love with the 1.6 liter turbocharged sound. I think it's probably one of the lamest sounding F1 engines of all time. So not a great concern, but I think the SF70H does have an advantage in that regard. We're all done our hot lap mode there. We've expended all the electrical energy we're going to expend in this engine, so now we're just running straight engine, straight V6, so that's interesting. Anyway, so graphical advantage, I would say, is held by the SF70H, as is the sound. You can't hear it because my electric motor is gone. Let's see if I can charge it a bit here. And then engage it one more time. You should be able to hear it, but it sounds different. You can hear when it's engaged, and I think, being an F1 fan, I can tell you that it sounds more accurate than the Formula Hybrid. So it has that going for it for sure, among a number of other things. I think this is a very cool car. I think to say it's easy to drive, hard to master would not be an accurate statement. I think it's hard to get used to and hard to master. But as is the way, as would be with a real Formula 1 car. So yeah, true to form. Let's see if we can not spin out here. Just barely kept it under control. So we're going to finish in the 157 range. Yeah, so certainly we could shave a few seconds off that. So, yeah, very cool. Very cool. I'm happy with it. I think Kunos has done a great job with this car, and this is the first from the Ferrari 70th pack that I've driven, and I think this on its own is a very, very cool add to my game. So, well done to Kunos. Loving the car. So we'll show you a quick replay lap, and thank you so much for watching.